Ever since I started my digital art journey almost a year ago, there have been drawings that I've loved, hated, felt conflicted about, and have started to dislike the more time passed. With this particular drawing, I'm not sure how to feel about it. The whole process was quite stressful for me, which is strange because it's not like I was trying to draw something hyper realistic or even complicated. This is just a series I'm doing because I like the idea. However, I'll talk more about this internal conflict later. Like in my video where I designed the planet Mercury as a high school girl, this was another one that I had posted on my previous channel. And just like with the Mercury video, the first design was different from this particular end result. Here are some facts about this planet that I kept in mind while drawing. 1. It's mainly a yellowish white. 2. It also spins in a different direction from most planets. And 3. Because it's so similar to our planet, but has such extremely hot temperatures, it's usually called the Earth's evil twin. Let me explain the first two facts at the same time. So, for the first fact, I made that her main color. However, and this is where I'll start to explain how I incorporated the second fact, I did think it would be fitting to make her a little alt, so I combined that color with a darker shade. I decided to make her alt because I think that aesthetic has always been quite unique, and I kind of associate it with counterculture. For the third fact, I focused on her personality. I think I did a good job of giving her a neutral facial expression. At school, she's incredibly intelligent, and so a lot of people go to her for help. She's not great at social interactions, so she might be considered rude, like emphasizing a test score or taking control of a conversation. Now, there's a difference between being unaware and being mean. She truly doesn't mean to be rude, and she quickly stops her behavior when someone calls her out and apologizes. Now, about my feelings towards this drawing. I should start from the beginning. Yesterday, I woke up super excited to draw her. I was very determined, in fact. However, I'm the kind of person that doesn't really plan things before sketching, which I realize is something I need to change. I didn't really have a clear idea in mind, so I was just making things up as I went, which frustrated me when things didn't come as easily. However, when I was done, I was pleased with the sketch and went straight for the line art. Line art for me is very difficult. I think that a lot of other people can relate to that. I watched some videos on the subject, so I know a few tips that help me when I'm stuck, but they still don't stop me from continuing to struggle with it. What I find is that it usually depends on the day. There are days where the line art isn't too hard, and then there are days like yesterday where doing even an okay job seems nearly impossible. I'm not lying to you when I tell you that I did the line art like 5 different times. I tried Procreate, IB's Paint X, and Krita, which I used at the end. And I know that it doesn't depend on the drawing platform, it depends on the skill. However, I don't know, I guess I was just like, okay, which drawing platform would be the easiest for me? Line art usually takes me about 40 to 50 minutes to complete, but yesterday it took me almost 2 hours, and I felt like the lines weren't even that clean. However, it was already 6 p.m. and I still needed to color it, so I was like, you know what? It's okay that the line art isn't great because I'm sure that the coloring will mask it. However, I'm still not a pro at coloring, especially in digital. So I continue to color it, and as I continued to do so, the more overwhelmed I felt. The shadows and lights felt all wrong, and going back to the line art, the proportions felt completely off. Then also, coloring for me takes about 50 minutes on average. However, yesterday it took me about an hour and 10 minutes. By the time I finished this drawing, it was well past 8 p.m., and I still continued to add and change little things here and there. I remember that by the time I went to bed, I couldn't even look at it. I was exhausted, overwhelmed, and decided to just give up. And so, you may be wondering, girl, if you hate it so much, why are you posting it on the internet where a lot of people can start to hate your guts if they themselves dislike it? Well, I spent so much time and effort on this illustration that I don't want to just throw it away. Furthermore, today I don't hate it as much as I did yesterday, so yeah. I just drew the entrance of the school. She's going in and she's looking back because it's probably a fight going on. And also, I forgot to mention it before, but she is a senior in high school. And in this little headcanon, this little series I'm doing, she is literally the twin of the character I'm going to draw to represent the Earth. I thought that would be really cool considering its nickname. That was all for today's video. If you liked it, feel free to give it a like. And if you think you could like my channel, feel free to subscribe. And I hope to see you in my next video next Wednesday. Bye bye.